Secret agent girl, secret agent girl. They all call me Scarheart, 'cause I told them that's my name. Hey guys, Scarheart here, giving you behind the scenes look at my latest movie, Alpha Team Countercharge. Here we go! Okay, this one was a little hard to do because of my rush to get to college. A lot of the filming was rushed, so I was a little surprised that it turned out as well as it did. Anyway, this movie started as a request from my good friend Dylan, who also happens to play Charge. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Charge was his favorite Alpha Team agent. He says it's a very fun challenge to play him because of his lack of emotions, which is of course opposite of what every single person who tells you to act tells you to do. They say put emotion into what you're saying. With Charge, you gotta not do that. Yet, he always likes to play around with Charge's character and see if he can sort of subtly add in what he's actually thinking about. You know, if he's trying to hide concern, he might make his voice crack a little bit, for example. As a result, he was asking me for quite some time now if I would make something that would tell part of Charge's past. And since I was planning to going into various agents' pasts in the next few films, I figured now's as good a time as ever. So I started work on deciding just what I wanted to talk about with Charge, because he's a little bit of a weird character, which I really don't need to explain that if you've seen my videos. But I kind of wanted to explain the fact that, yes, he's weird, and yes, he may not always be the nicest to Scarheart, and yes, he doesn't have any emotions, but he still has some redeeming qualities, and in the end, the agents are willing to accept him for what he is. And I think I really put that across really well. And then the other thing I kind of wanted to touch with, since I was just going to talk about past in general, was I wanted to talk about, or I wanted to convey rather, my own thoughts on the topic, about how things that happened to you in the past help create you into a better person often, and help you to become who you want to be. I've always felt that that's sort of been my case, and I really wanted that to show through what happened to Charge. And I think the flashback scene with Dash and Cam really put that into place. I was really happy with how that turned out. I was really happy with how both flashback scenes turned out, actually. It was a strange story I had to convey, and it was one that really couldn't be told just as a basic prequel. I had to actually go into some of the after effects of what was going on, and so I really had to focus on flashbacks rather than just make the story what happened, which I think is what Dylan wanted, but sorry Dylan, I gotta do what's best for my films. And then the other thing that I really liked was that I really wanted to convey, yes, he's like this, but you've got to understand, Charge is not a bad person. He cares a lot for his team, and I try to show that anyway through my films. We have the whole ending anyway of Machine of Fear, but just there are various little things that happen throughout the series that really kind of show that Charge isn't such a bad person, and that he really is one who, when trouble comes, he's looking out for everyone else, even if he's not willing to admit that. So I really wanted to touch back on that and say, yes, you're not just seeing things, this really is a part of Charge. And of course it had to be something that Flex was going to see, because I often pair up Flex and Charge when I'm not pairing Flex up with Crunch, which is my other option. Probably the hardest thing to come up with, though, when I was writing this down was, how was I going to get someone like Charge to fall victim to anything? I mean, Charge is kind of known for being able to avoid all the really deep, devastating effects of things. I mean, yeah, we have Most Powerful Agent where he gets hit in the head by a helicopter, but apart from that, he's really the one that I'm saying he's not going to get injured, he's not going to get sick, unless it's a story focused on him, and it's a case where something really has to happen. And even then, it has to be pretty extreme in order for him not to defend himself. And so, I tried to think what would be something that would bring down his guard. And honestly, I find that just from working in a nursery, what brings my guard down is children. Which is, so if you ever want to give me a good scare, this is a good tactic. I hate horror stories and zombie movies and such that have children in it, because just children, for me, they're who I work with, and I've kind of gotten used to what they're like, and just seeing them paired up with these monsters and knowing what they're feeling around that, or even just having that drastic change, is something that really frightens me. So I figured, Charge is a nice guy deep down, so he's probably going to be feeling the same things I feel around a child, that they're something that shouldn't be associated with monsters or bad events. But unfortunately, movies often like to play in children, and I decided to go with that. I had a child be the one that finally grabbed Charge. And he actually talks a little bit about that in the end, how just no one would be able to defend themselves against a child in the end. I think that's about it. So, hope to see you in my next big movie, Johnny Thunder and the Treasure of the Sea. Till then, stay strong, do your best, be yourself, and hang on tight. Things are always better in the end, and if they aren't better, it's not the end. Later!